and inspiring global patron of White Ribbon Alliance.
Thank you, Donna, for hosting us here at Urban Zen. But I know that we haven't all just come here for the green juice and the chilled out atmosphere. I know that we're all descending in New York, whether you're already a resident here or you're a visitor like me this week, that we're gathering really to participate in some way with this gathering of leaders from countries, businesses, civil society groups for the UN General annual meetings and for CGI this weekend. And we're all here representing our different causes, championing the expertise of our countries, bringing our messages, our different passions. I'm here this week mostly for the big UN Global Education launch that takes place next week that will escalate schools and learning up the priority list to maintain pace with the global health investments of recent years. And I know that there's quite a few people here who are engaged in that same thing too. The education piece and the health piece are not separate. You know, we're now finding that we're needing to make sure that girls are staying in school to keep them safer, keep them healthier, have them learning not just reading and writing, but learning about their own health and well-being. But it's important also for us to stop and just reflect on the importance of keeping maternal health right at the heart of what we're doing for children's health and for the world's health and well-being overall. We've got to keep it right at the heart of both the global and the national political agendas. It's not that many years ago that all of our speeches and conversations were about the fact that no progress at all had been made to reduce the number of mothers dying in pregnancy and childbirth for decades, despite the expertise and the know-how that existed. Mothers didn't count enough in those figures, but enough of us made enough of a loud noise about it and gave enough voice to it to make that change. And it was the White Ribbon Alliance that was right at the front of the maternal mortality campaign. And now we're looking at figures, the latest figures that have come through show that there's a sharp reduction of around 47% in maternal deaths each year. It's a massive improvement, and it's no longer the most off-track MDG. And I was talking to Flavia from the World Health Organization just earlier, who reminded me that they're now about to produce figures that say for the first time since they've started measuring it, they'll be recording that it's fewer than 7 million children who are dying before the age of 5 each year. It's still a very big figure, but to just know that you're making a great transformation. And part of the reason those figures have been driven down is because we're also protecting and keeping safe mothers. So the two things that remain. The two things that remain is, firstly, and it's really obvious, is that there's still more work to do. And the second thing is that just because there has been that progress, it doesn't mean that we can take it for granted. As we know all too well for women's issues, as it appears we have to learn for the global economy as well, investments can go down as well as up. And we must not let other priorities crowd out what we're doing for mothers and the focus on the maternal health agenda. Sometimes it is really hard to visualize exactly what it is the White Ribbon Alliance does that makes a difference. All over the world, it's in 155 countries, but it's sometimes hard to measure it, it's hard to single out exactly what it is that the White Ribbon Alliance has done. It is one of the greatest collaborating organizations I've come across, where it collaborates with other NGOs and professional organizations and activist groups and business and governments. So it's hard to identify and just give that organization the full credit that it deserves. I don't think there's a better way I can do it than to let you see the work of the White Ribbon Alliance. The film that's being made, the Citizens' Voices film, is being made around the world through all the alliances by volunteers. So the film that you'll see now that will just bring to life and make vivid the work that it does is a little scratchy in places and a little rough, but it's the way to bring you closest to the front line of what this organisation is doing.